Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to be up here sharing a little bit about my journey at Terminus using Terminus. Just a little bit of background about myself. I started at Terminus back in April, so it's been a fun and fast journey. But prior to being at Terminus, I was at an infrastructure technology company. I managed our marketing operations, I managed our inbound team, and I also helped build and manage our first SDR outbound team. So SDRs have a really soft spot in my heart, and we always were constantly working on finding those folks the right accounts, right messages. So when Sangra made the call to me talking about the opportunity at Terminus, we started talking more about ABM. I'm thinking, hey, this is some stuff that we've been doing. I just didn't know there was an actual term for it. So I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about our journey and some lessons learned and some of the campaigns that we've started running here in Terminus in the past few months. So our Terminus framework, and this was included in everybody's folder this morning, but we always have anywhere from 5 to 10 campaigns running at any given time through the Terminus platform. Today, and most of the campaigns that we've started have been primarily focused on the demand gen side and also on sales pipeline. So those are most of the campaigns that we're going to be talking about today. Some of the pre-targeting, lead to account nurturing, and some of that account nurture. And then we'll dig in a little bit deeper into some of the sales pipeline campaigns that we've been running. So demand generation, to kind of give you some perspective of kind of the makeup of our campaigns and what drives our pipeline, about 60% of our pipeline is driven from SDR-Led ABM campaigns. So this is our marketing team, our sales and marketing team, working together to identify these accounts and put them through various programs, all with Terminus being a center part of this to help warm up those accounts. Then we, obviously, everybody has an inbound component. We all do, but how can we weed through the noise of the form fills and the leads that we get to really make sure that we're focusing on those ideal customers, that ICP, those accounts, and really starting to dig in deeper to those accounts to help convert them quicker. And then also a new strategy that we've really implemented is ABM for events. In 2016, events were a very big strategy for us. So we had, I think, about 12 events last year. So we really want to make sure, especially as a small company, if we're spending money on events, we want to make sure we maximize and get the best ROI that we can. And so we've implemented an ABM strategy with those events. And I thought it'd be good just to kind of start off some of the conversation before we jumped into the campaigns, showing you a picture of our ABM tech stack. As you can see, we have a little bit in every category, and we'll dig in a little bit deeper on some of the tools that we're using as we look a little bit deeper into those campaigns. But for Identify, helping us figure out those right accounts, we use tools like Datanyze and Discover.org. As we expand to find the right contacts and the key decision makers in those organizations, tools, again, Discover.org, Synthio, Social123, LinkedIn, starting to engage with that audience. Obviously, Terminus ads are a big component of that, but direct mail like PFL, also content with Vidyard and Uberflip. So we're really trying to utilize all of the tools in our stack. Again, it's hard with this many tools, but we want to make sure that we're using as many channels as we can to get in front of this audience. So kind of the heart is our SDR-led ABM campaigns. And we work really closely to identify our ICP, our ideal customer profile, and set some goals with these campaigns. Obviously, with our SDRs, our goal and target is passing over qualified opportunities to sales. We spend some time and try to identify those accounts. This is where our sales and marketing alignment. We come up with those key accounts, and honestly, this is the hardest part of my job. Finding the right accounts, especially if you have a narrow ICP. We look at company size, number of marketers, technologies used, and trying to find a tool that I can find all that information is hard. And then also taking that data back into our Salesforce, doing some deduping, checking to make sure it's not already worked. Then we scrap off 10, we've got to go pick up 10 more. So this is the kind of a push and pull with our sales and marketing team, but just we want to make sure that up front we get those right accounts. But once we do agree on them, the first thing we do is we drop those into a Terminus campaign. So they start to receive our ads, various ad messaging depending upon the type of campaign it is, but really starting to help warm up those accounts. Once we start warming up those accounts, we really try to let those run about a month before our SDRs start working them. That gives our SDRs time to go in and expand the accounts, find the right marketers at the organization that we need to contact, find that contact information, and start to build out that complete account profile. Our SDRs are using tools, LinkedIn, Discover.org, Social 123. They're really trying to dig in and find a complete account profile and the right people that we need to start having conversations with. Then the fun begins, the magic, the engage. So we've already been starting to engage with these accounts. They're starting to see those Terminus ads, but now our SDRs really get into the mix. We use SalesLoft Cadence, and we develop a multi-touch, multi-channel program. They're starting to begin their outreach with calls and emails, social. We've even started incorporating elements of video and personalized content streams through Uberflip. And it's all along the way, these Terminus ads are continuing to run. When the SDRs get in touch with those organizations, we look to seek referrals with those target accounts. Try to find advocates for what we're doing. And all along the way, we're measuring our progress. Because if you can't measure it, it's not worth managing. So we really take a look at the numbers together as a team and report back and share our successes. But a lot of times, we have items we need to work on, and we're continuing to improve this. One of the things, you heard the song when I walked up earlier, that's called our all-bound song. And not only do we have just inbound or outbound, we have all-bound category. And our all-bound category is an account that sales and marketing both work together. So we always play that song whenever we get a demo scheduled. Everybody gets up, we dance, we have a good time. So I always like it when I hear that song more than the other songs because it's a good marketing win for the team. So showing some of our creatives. Basically, we're starting off with general brand awareness messages. The one on the left, the Target Engage Accelerate, was one of our first ads that we've ever done at Terminus. We started to, see this being played out. It was very stale, so we focused some more on getting some more, improved messaging that aligns not only with our brand, but with the messaging that our SDRs are sharing in their emails on a daily basis. So engage the right people at your target accounts. It's the core of what we do. So the SDRs, this message is resonating more with the folks that they're hearing. They're understanding what it means a little bit more versus the one on the left. Creative is always a hard, it's a resource that's stretched too thin in my opinion. So trying to keep those ads optimized and continuing to have fresh ads, that's something as an organization we're working. Again, we're a small team, but we're trying to crank out as much as we can, and creative is definitely an area of improvement for us. So our inbound category, we have one inbound specialist. He handles all of the inquiries that come in through the web, through our web forums and through chat. We put out a lot of great content at Terminus, but we also attract a lot of people that don't meet our customer profile. And we really don't want to spend a lot of time with him following up on people who will never be a successful customer for us. So he spends a lot of his time scrubbing data. He gets these accounts, he does his lookups, he finds his firmographics, the demographics, and really comes to a realization 50% of the people that come in wouldn't be a good fit for us. So we say, basically, thank you for downloading the content. I hope you enjoyed it. And that's where we're going to end our conversation. But if they are a good fit and they do meet our ICP, we want to make sure we start to build out that account profile. Not only do we want to engage with the person who downloaded that content, we want to start looking at other individuals in that department and start reaching out to those folks as well. Whenever a lead, bad word, comes into our system, we automatically convert that into an account and a contact. So we're already starting to think with that account mindset and starting to build up that account profile. Then Tom starts to engage. He puts them in his normal cadences. He'll start running with messages. We have a personalized Uberflip stream for him that he can share more ABM resources. A lot of folks are coming to us wanting information about ABM, how do I get started, and they look to our content to kind of answer some of those questions. So Tom continues to be a resource, reaching out to them with his ultimate goal at the end of those cadences is to get that demo set. And through that, we launched personal follow-up to these individuals. So if you download the ABM 101 ebook, you get a different stream of emails than if you downloaded our blueprint to ABM. And then all along the way, again, tracking, measuring those conversions, how many of those downloaders or form fillers or people who visit our website have actually converted into good opportunities for the sales team. And here's an example of our Uber flip stream that Tom uses. We put together a list of some of the basic best ABM 101 resources. So this is a URL that he sends out in his cadences that we can track back, but it lists a lot of different materials that people are coming to us looking for where they don't have to spend a lot of time bouncing around our website trying to find each piece and download. We kind of put it all in front of them, kind of in a summary format. And this has started to work really good for us. We started this about Dreamforce, and we're continuing to include it in more messaging. As we have more resources available, we switch them out and make them more fresh. So events. Events is an area that we started focusing on, and truly this was probably my first true ABM campaign at Terminus, was for our Flip My Funnel Boston event, which took place back in August. We worked together with our sales and marketing team to identify 375 accounts in the Boston area that meet our ICP, that would be good fits to come to the conference. With our whole goal was driving registration for that conference. So we worked together to develop our messaging. We built out a whole campaign, how our SDRs were going to take part, how marketing was going to take part, how we were going to show Terminus ads, and we really worked together and built this out about 2 months before the campaign, before the actual conference. So once we agreed upon those accounts, we started showing those Terminus ads. And so with the whole idea of warming up the account. And then we handed it over to our SDRs. They found the right contacts, and they started to engage with them through SalesLoft Cadence. And we started building out cadences. We used some videos in there. And Brad, sorry, we have a fun video of you. Brad was one of our SDRs who worked on our Boston campaign, newly promoted AE, so he's awesome. But I'm going to show you the video that Brad created to send out to his target accounts for Boston.
Hey there, this is Brad Wilkerson from Terminus. I wanted to invite you to an amazing birthday party. Flip My Funnel has been leading the account-based marketing movement for the past year, and on August 11th, we're going to be celebrating its first birthday in Boston. We hope that you'll join us to learn about account-based marketing and how Terminus can help you become an account-based marketing superhero. So put on your party hats, and we'll see you there.
So, sorry, I didn't know you were coming, Brad, but I would give you a warning. But it was great. Don't you guys think Brad was great? Come on, round of applause for Brad. And who wouldn't want to go to a birthday party with this guy? Come on, good times. So let me share a little bit about those event results. So out of those 375 accounts that we wanted to come to the conference, 41 companies registered, and that was 11%. And so when I was looking at that number, I wasn't sure if it was good or not. It was our first campaign. We didn't have any benchmarking data, but I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. It sounds good to me, but this is a good base for our next events to know, kind of where we need to improve on. But where I really started to get a little bit more excited was when I started to look at the pipeline created. We created over $500,000 in pipeline from those companies, which essentially was a result, essentially made up 36% of the total event pipeline, which I was really happy with our first ABM campaign. And we only spent $855 in advertising costs. So the whole goal, driving people to the conference, but not just people, the right people, because we have a better chance of closing that deal if we have the right people in the room. So some of the qualitative results we've heard, and Brad can probably share some more personal, but we loved your video. We passed it around the office. Our job as marketers is to cut through the noise, actually have people respond. And messages like this actually allowed Brad to have more conversations and had more people respond to his email. And the feedback from the overall SDR team was it was easier to engage with people because they had seen the video and the email and the ads, that it made those conversations so much easier. So kind of our next series of campaigns is really our sales pipeline campaigns. And we started running most of our campaigns probably late summer, and we took more of a multi-campaign approach, so targeting opportunities that were early stage opportunities, mid stage, and late stage opportunities. And really spend some time talking with the teams, figuring out what those messages were and how we could relate through those different stages through Salesforce. And so we came up with a series of 3 campaigns within Terminus. One is the first one focuses on the demo scheduled. So this is the time when an SDR passes over that opportunity to sales, saying, I've got somebody who wants to take a demo. So what we do is we start showing Terminus branded ads, because at the end of the day, we actually want that person to show up for the demo. So our goal is the more they see the Terminus ads, the more it will be in their mindset, the more likely they're actually to get on that phone that day. So our mid-stage opportunities, the demo completed and the interest, we start talking a little bit more kind of about engagement and solving pain points. But we incorporate a direct mail strategy at this point. We drop one of the Sangram's account-based marketing for dummies in the mail, and we utilize PFL for that. That comes automatically from Salesforce. So our opportunities get a copy of the book, a note from Sangram, and a bookmark. And then all along the way, our account executives play a key part in doing outreach through their normal sales process through calls and emails and social touches. Now, our late stage opportunities, we continue, but we start honing in a little bit more on different messaging. We start talking about the results, the ROI, how to decrease your sales days, and really start hitting hard on those results. And some of the creative that we've started using, again, for those early stage opportunities on campaign 1, more of a generic brand awareness message. Campaign 2, we're talking about engagement, helping with the hard part of marketing, increasing conversions. And then on our 3rd stage, late stage opportunities, we're talking about increasing more pipeline, closing more deals, and closing them faster. So really trying to resonate where people, their heads are at in this buying cycle and what messages they need to see to be able to move it further down the funnel. Now, what's great with this is that we track all this through Salesforce and through the Terminus platform. We measure this through progression. We have 3 series of campaigns, so I can't tell you as a Terminus customer how excited I am for the combination of campaigns to come about, where we can see one campaign with these 3 tactics. But we measure campaign progression, and that's straight through Salesforce and straight through the opportunity field. Some of our results that we've seen. And again, we haven't been doing it too long, but we've seen a 12% in improvement in win rates in companies that we're showing Terminus ads to. Now, this was measured against companies that were unmatched in Terminus. And as you know, typically in Terminus, we tend to match larger companies. It's easier to match larger companies than some of the smaller companies. But as you know, the larger the company you work with, the longer the sales cycle, the more red tape, the more contracts flying back and forth. So we're really excited to see this early number win. Again, not a ton of results yet, but it gives us some good benchmark data, especially as we start to plan our future campaigns. We get a lot of love on social. When folks get the book, they love to tweet and send a picture about it. And also, it makes it a lot easier for our AEs. They'll get notes back and say, hey, thanks for the book. This is awesome. But it also allows our AEs another follow-up opportunity instead of just saying, did you sign the contract yet? It's like, hey, just wanted to check and see if you received the book yet. And so it's just another touch point for them and another reason for them to stay in touch with that audience. And there's an example of one of our tweets that we got sending out the book. And then what I enjoy hearing more is, I see your ads everywhere. Because that's great. Because if I'm targeting my prospects and they're seeing my ads, I know my product's working. And what's great is that if they're seeing my ads, they're starting to think, hey, my prospects are going to start to see my ads in the same sales phase. So it's really great to get that feedback, that everybody's seeing our ads everywhere. So it makes everything work easier. So some lessons learned. As everybody's kind of stated before, it's not an easy journey, and there's a lot of areas of improvement that we have as an organization, as a team, but constantly keep learning and trying new things. I mean, if you don't try it, you don't know if it works. But really, the key area for me is spending more time identifying the right accounts. If you put all this work up front, it's going to pay off. But I think personally, this is one of the hardest areas of marketing. Really, especially if you have a narrow ICP, it's hard. It's different if you say, I want to target everybody in Georgia. But as you start adding technology and number of people in departments, it starts whittling down that list. So it's really hard. And then also, kind of the integrity of what's in your sales force as well. So, the tools using tools to find new accounts, but also using your sales force to kind of bring those two together. Constantly improve ads and messaging. This is an area for us that definitely in 2017 we need some work with. We have one resource that's a creative resource, and she's stretched very thin. So staying on top to make sure that we're constantly producing new messaging and new ads is really a key focus for us. And again, effective and targeted content, it's hard. It's hard being able to personalize content and reach those right decision makers. It's easier to make a one-size-fits-all email and slap it out, but no, we need to be more personal than that. We need to take it to the next level, and with that takes a little bit more work. Involving the whole team is critical. I love my marketing team. We meet every week. We talk about good things. And bad things sometimes, but that's what we do. We do it together as a team. And with ABM, everybody has to be bought in. If I decide that a great campaign to run doesn't meet what my sales team needs, they're never going to support it. And again, we both have parts to play. I have my marketing hat, but they have their sales hat, and they have to be bought in, and they have to be committed to work the campaign with us. Setting clear KPIs that matter. Is it demo set? Is it pipeline generated? Is it, increased engagement? But coming together and understanding what are the metrics that are going to deem this campaign successful versus another campaign, and making sure everybody's aligned with that. I showed you earlier our tech stack. We have a lot of tools, and I can tell you I don't spend quite enough time on some of the tools as I should. But if you're going to invest in the tools and the technology, learn it, use it, figure out how it can make your business better. You spent money on it, you might as well, kind of kick the tires and make sure it works for your business. In today's age, everybody wants to work smarter, not harder. So if you have tools that can help you do that from a measurement standpoint, take advantage of it. It's really going to help you in the long run. And data is king. Data. If I didn't hear the word data one day, I think I'd be happy. But, data's not sexy marketing. It's just not. But what it is, it's the backbone of every good marketing campaign. If you don't have good data, if you don't have the right accounts and contacts, you're never going to be successful. And again, this is a really hard part. But if everybody has to take ownership in the data. It can't just be one department. For example, we need a lot of work in our Salesforce cleanup. Again, not an old company, but we've already kind of let it get out of hands. So we're putting in more processes and procedures. We're holding more people accountable for certain elements of the account profile. And in a couple weeks, we're even having a data cleaning soiree. So we're going to buy lunch. Everybody's going to come in, start to clean up some accounts. So we can start to work with the data that we have in Salesforce and do better segmentation and run better campaigns with what we have. And I believe that is it. So I am super excited. It's been really great listening to our customers. Again, I'm a customer too of Terminus, so I love hearing what everybody's doing. I call the customer success managers too. But I love hearing what people are doing and getting new ideas. And again, thank you so much for being customers, and I'm excited to be on the journey with you.
All right,
Thanks.
Thank you. That's awesome. It's great.
Thank you.
Great.
Am I done?
No.